Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. Every year at this time we have a new moon in Leo. As the sun rules Leo, this is a time when our hearts are particularly open. And this year, Venus is so close to the new moon that the emphasis is on relationship, relating to people, things, surroundings, the relationship of one thing to another, and all with an open acceptance, which is the hallmark of real love. In this chart we have Mars in Leo as well. Mars has been travelling through Leo since the beginning of July. In the body it rules the solar plexus, the seat of our desire nature, our motivating energy. In Leo, it can show a strong impulse to follow through with the heart's desires. But the effect of this depends rather on whether your spirit is in charge or your ego. Generally speaking, it's our ego that runs the show on that level. Mars continues to be in Leo until the 18th of August, just after the full moon, when it moves into Virgo. Venus will go into Virgo on the 21st of August, and Mercury into Virgo on the 29th, having moved through Leo very quickly during the second half of this month. The movement from Leo to Virgo is about knowing what the heart of the matter requires, and Virgo is the following through in delivering that, actually putting the work in. So the first half of this month is very much about finding that centre, that important desire, the motivation that grows you into who you can be. Finding out how you would like to do this, discovering yourself, so that in the second half of the month you can go to work on what's required to get there. Jupiter is trining the new moon and Mars, opening up the possibilities, drawing us forwards into uncharted lands. Jupiter's in Sagittarius, which shoots its arrow into the unknown, and we may find during the second half of the month that it was actually a bit beyond our limitations. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as one doesn't get hung up on disappointment or blaming for lack of achievement. It's learning where the limitations are, and we need to know so that we can continue to grow, but more gently. The new moon and Venus are trining Chiron. The side of Chiron that represents our woundedness in Aries can draw our attention to a sense of loneliness. Aries enjoys a challenge and will go forwards faster than anyone else, but then find that they are on their own. And if the tasks of the time feel too great, it can produce a sense of lack of ability to handle life. With the Venus new moon trining it, perhaps this is a month where we can really experience how love and connectedness can heal wounds to our courage, so that that drive goes ahead. At the full moon, we find Mercury already in Leo from the 11th of August, and he's making the trine to Chiron that Venus was making before, as though we understand now, and we can go forwards with courage, the courage of Leo. It may all happen in fits and starts with that square to Uranus, so we may make a good effort forwards to find ourselves blocked, sometimes by circumstances. Maybe we were going a bit too fast, or it wasn't quite the right moment, sometimes by our own sense of losing the energy a sense of uncertainty about whether that was what we wanted to do. So if you find this happening, don't be surprised and don't be worried. Our soul's timing is perfect for us. We need to have patience and trust that things will unfold in an appropriate time. The full moon itself is in Aquarius, which handles that separateness that one can feel from others by observing the rest to see how it all needs to work, and then putting effort in with others to work as a community, to collaborate. Venus has moved to be exactly conjunct the Sun, opposite the Moon. This suggests the flavour of the second half of the month as being very much about working with those you want to work with, enjoying the people who are around you, and learning to balance our own exuberance and our own desire for expression with listening, heartful listening to what other people have to say. The link from the Sun and Venus to Jupiter continues, so that this love can express itself through interest in what another person sees as important, while the Aquarian moon perhaps gives us the impetus to see how another person's viewpoint can add to our own understanding of the whole. The flavour of the whole month is given from the new moon chart, which has Mercury in Cancer, very different from the Leo fiery warmth and power. And Mercury represents our communication, what we're thinking about, what we're being focused on consciously. Mercury spent the last 20 days or so retrograde, but less than an hour after this new moon, it is direct. From the 1st of August, the 31st of July in America, there is a coming together of need and the supplying of that need, a desire to nurture ourselves, hopefully, as well as other people. But the listening ear is caring and may be focused on the changes, the big, strong changes that are happening in the world. There is a pointing finger, a pair of quincunxes linked by a sextile. We have Neptune sextile that group in Capricorn, Saturn, South Node, Pluto. And both of those points are quincunx to Mars. At the full moon, Pluto will be quincunx to Sun and Venus. With a quincunx, if you think only for yourself and try to get yourself comfortable, there is a very uncomfortable feeling, sometimes of guilt. What works is to make sure that you are enjoying yourself and share that joy with others. Find a way that you can do what you enjoy to do that helps others as well. And in the general move in that direction, spiritual transformation becomes the order of this month. The next new moon will be on the 30th of August, so it's the whole of August that has this lovely Leo flavour. Let's make it about finding what we really want at our heart level, the deepest heart level. As I see it, everything is spirit, but in the human body, the heart feels like the easiest place to make contact with that understanding. The mind is very good at thinking about things and communicating, but it can't really know anything, knowing in that true permanent sense. The heart knows. So listening to the heart this month will bring us closer to the truth than thinking about it. Enjoy. Thank you. There is such beauty in every corner of life. Not perhaps the beauty that you have been trained to see, but a tender fragility of impermanence. Gaze long enough to see this with your inner eye, and your heart will know the secret of all things, that life itself is continuous creation, its beauty the one presence welling up through our consciousness of forms. Holding on to creations that have passed feels like grief at what is lost, anger at destruction. Keep looking, knowing that presence is complete and never lost, and your consciousness may expand until all is contained and understood.